Welcome to the Epic Success Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shannon Irvin. We are going to continue on the 67-day year. And today I want to talk about what are the 3 simple steps to wire your brain to achieve more in less time. And if you haven't had a chance to go grab the book, 67dayyearbook.com has links to all the purveyors, and you can get some amazing bonuses I'll talk about at the end. So make sure you grab your copy and we deep dive into the 3 systems I'm going to be talking about with you today in the book. Clarify, erase, and automate. These 3 neuroscience-backed methods to show your brain what it is you really want, but not put it in opposition as a bully against your dreams. Erase, getting the things out that are slowing you down. And then automate, putting your brain on the fast track to achieving results. I want to brag for a moment on you. So at this point, I'm recording this and we have just launched the book, and we were able to hit the #1 spot in popular neuropsychology, the #1 spot in strategic management, and the #1 spot in goal setting and achievement. I'm so excited. So thank you so much for those of you who have bought the book and have reviewed the book. If you've bought it and you haven't reviewed it, I would love to see your 5-star review in any of the places that you purchased it. And make sure you go back to 67, the number 67. I know it's a meme, 67dayyearbook.com, and put in your information, get those bonuses, the free workbook, the free audiobook, and your free VIP pass to a 3-day live virtual workshop. So make sure you grab those. But today I want to talk about the 3 simple steps to wire your brain to achieve more in less time. And those 3 steps are part of what we call our NeuroCoach model. The NeuroCoach model is, how does the brain allow results? What are the steps? What is the how-to in order to get results? Now you see me, I'm in my doctor's coat. I don't walk around with this on, but I just ran a fun reel where I said, do you need a doctor for your business? And we do all of this effort. We get all the courses, we do all the marketing. We just strive and strain and push and hustle. And that model of achievement is actually broken, and why you're so exhausted. So kind of, you do need a doctor, or you need to get the book, 67-day year book. So why is it important that we align with how our brain allows us to achieve results? Here's why. 90% of your daily decisions and your actions, and therefore your results, are not coming from your planning, thinking, hustling brain, your prefrontal cortex. It's actually coming from your subconscious patterns that are automated through repetition in your childhood of origin, environment of origin. You're part of, I call this it's called officially the prefrontal cortex, but the thinking part of your brain, I call it the BS part of your brain. It's the part of your brain that can call BS on thoughts and on opinions that other people have that are around you. That part of you doesn't fully develop till you're 22. So in reality, you have patterns about money, worth, enoughness, capacity, ability, your deservedness in the world. If money is bad, if money is good, if money is evil, if you're afraid of failure, if you're afraid of success, all of that was done through repetition before that part of your brain fully developed where you could say, I don't believe that. And so your brain, it gets hardwired in the subconscious through situations happening and thoughts being mentioned around you, and then those thoughts being repeated so often. Thoughts create emotions. Those thoughts and emotions combine to become a belief. That's part of our STEBDAR model that we teach coaches to coach through. And then 90% of every decision, action, and therefore result come from that subconscious part of your mind. So if you know that 90% of every decision that you make, therefore every action that you take, therefore every result you're going to have is coming from there, doesn't it make sense that we would be taught how to see what's in there, keep what works, and remove what doesn't? If something is 90% responsible for your results, for your patterns, for your habits, why are we not learning in high school and in college how to master the miracle of the brain that can then hardwire the vision, the place that you want to be, as safe, as familiar? And so therefore not putting your brain in opposition to the desires that you want. Well, that's my life's mission, is to help you wire your brain so that you're able to achieve more in less time. And we do that through the Sync NeuroCoach model, the 3 big steps being clarify, erase, and automate. Clarify is where we're going to show your brain in a very specific way. And I deep dive into this in the book and also in, of course, the 67-day year. And for CEOs, we have a level for that too. But we deep dive into that because we've got to get your vision, your dreams, the desires of your heart in the language that the brain will not see as a threat. See, the old smarter goals, the way you learned how to sit down and achieve goals and say, I want this, and you put these big numbers up, literally it fires off a cocktail of neurochemicals that go to work in opposition to the thing you want. That's why you feel really motivated for about 72 hours, and then that starts to fade, and it starts to feel hard, and then we put the goals away. And then when we hit roadblocks, we tend to simmer back down to a temperature setting point and just do a little bit more. That is not taught to us, but it is how the brain works. And so we, in the clarifies, we got to understand, what is it that you want? Why do you want it? And what is it that done success looks like to you? And then we've got to turn that into the language of certainty that the brain will not perceive as a threat, but perceive as something that needs to become automated in the subconscious mind, running 90% of your daily decisions and actions aligned with what you want, not where you've been. So that's clarify. Now, erase, the way I love describing this pillar of the neurocoaching model is, imagine, if you listened to last week, you heard my dedication, to the dreamers, to the entrepreneurs, to the crazy people who think we can do it. Well, here's the thing. If you're listening to this podcast, this is what I know about you. Your foot's on the gas, like to the metal, floor to the metal. Like nobody's going to motivate you to want it, to try, to work. You're buying all the courses. You've done all the masterminds. You've done all the things that are supposed to work. So why aren't they? Or why are they working for some other than others? See, when you have your foot firmly on the gas all the way to the floor, but there are patterns in your subconscious running 90% of the time, by the way, that literally is like taking and putting your foot on the brake without your knowledge, without your permission. You didn't create it. It's not your fault. But what happens when you have your gas of your car floored and you put your foot on the brake at the same time? You push the brake at the same time, you're going to stall. You're going to feel stuck. You're going to go in circles. You're going to go backwards. Doesn't that sound familiar? So it's not that you're not capable, able, have the capacity, deserve it, any of those patterns. It's that sometimes it's better to remove, taking the foot off the brake so that the accelerator can work. And so that's what I love. This is the pillar that creates speed. Everybody says, why 67 days? We talked about that on the last podcast. But why you can create a year's worth of goals in 67 days. Yes, it's getting it in the language of the brain through clarify, so that your brain stops working against you. But in this erase pillar, it's removing those brake pedal beliefs, those automatic negative thoughts, those patterns that will not serve where you're headed. So we walk through you in the book, and we do it in our coaching programs as well. A tool called the Mind Matrix is where we go in, we help you identify what are those patterns. We keep the ones that are working great. Like, what are the ones that you already know are working great? You're a hard worker. You're dedicated, you're committed, you're compassionate, you're ethical, all of those things that you don't even have to think about, you just are. Those are also patterns. Those are just on the positive side, and they help you get to where you want to go. Well, whatever those other patterns are, they're not yours. You didn't choose them. They're not your fault. And they are getting in the way of what you want to achieve. So we take you through a mind matrix process. It's a process that uses a neuroscientific tool called synaptic pruning. But we help you identify them and remove them. These are those pesky ants that will literally slow every single goal down. That's why when I'm meeting with people in my coaching program and I ask them, how long have you wanted this particular goal? They'll say 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Why? Not because they weren't driven, desirous, or capable, but because their foot has been on the gas and the brake without their knowledge or permission. So now you see clarify. Now you see erase. Now, once we've clarified and erased, now we have all that we need to go into our automate phase. basically in Automate, we want to put on autopilot in the subconscious everything that will get you to your goals and nothing that is going to slow you down. We do that through two different things. We call the first a vision brain prime. This is a process we take you through. I actually walk you through it in the book as well, where you are building an audio and a visualization process that you do every single morning and every single evening that is not cookie cutter. See, a lot of those well-meaning affirmations, vision boards, all that, it's not that they're bad. They just don't work with your brain systems because it's somebody else's words. When we develop your automations, we're developing them based on what you want, why you want it, your definition of success, and exactly what's important to you, so that what gets created in that brain prime is so customized, so specific to you that it builds the neural pathway super fast. And here's the key. You have something called a reticular activating system. Basically, it's like a big bouncer, big doorman that stands at the gate of your subconscious and says, I will let in anything that aligns, but nothing that doesn't. And so what we want to do with this brain prime is create so much glucose, so much energy toward you being at that done result that your brain and that reticular activating system sees it as if it's already happened. So that's the vision brain prime in the automate phase. And then we also do what's called a truth brain prime. And that truth brain prime comes out of the erase pillar and is really the replacement of the lie that has been holding you back for all this time. And here's the great news. All of this can happen literally in about a 3-day window. And by day 21, we know if we were scanning your brain, the new pathway and the old pathway are equal. And at about day 67, the old pathway is gone and the new one has taken off and has taken control. Think like freeway without exits. And so why do we want to do this? Why do we want to slow down to speed up? Because if you still keep trying to tell your brain you want something that's outside of you, your brain is going to work against that through neurochemicals. How you see this showing up? Overwhelm, procrastination, perfectionism, money stories. These are the brake pedal beliefs that show up, and they get fired through neurochemicals because your brain is not aligned with where you want to go in the way that it works together. And so that's what we do inside the 67-day year program. That's what I have outlined here in the 67-day year book. This is a very take you through it. Like workbook is available to you. Now, some of you are like, I want to go faster. That's when you should get into the coaching program and let us help you see the blind spots, help you get speed toward the acceleration of the goal. We are constantly having celebrations with people hitting their, what we call epic audacious goals in 67 days, and we're giving away these fun little achiever bears when you do, because there's something magical about being in that room where people see what is possible that's outside of what the rest of the world thinks. And they're all training their brains, wiring their brain to achieve more in less time. So you can get the book and all the bonuses at 67dayyearbook.com. And just to remind you, all the amazing bonuses, we have the free audiobook, 100% free. It's ready, waiting for you. All you got to do is bring your receipt, sign up, get it in there. And then you've got your audiobook, you've got your workbook to help you work through it on your own. And then you get a VIP ticket to a 3-day workshop with me live at the end of October, where I'm going to be spending a day with you working through the 67-day year, helping you see all those models live and be able to ask questions. Day 2 is our NeuroScale method. How do you, now that you've mapped out that year's 67-day year, how do you actually scale? That's a whole different conversation. And we're going to go through the NeuroScale method, and you're going to be able to see how do you hardwire your brain to scale. And then day 3, we're going to actually map out your 67-day year. You get a free VIP ticket. That's a $97 ticket. You are getting that for free just because I love you for buying the book. I wanted to give you the $1,000 worth of free resources to be able to help you implement this. Here's the thing. Some of you will join our coaching program. Some of you will get certified and be able to use these models with your clients. Some of you are CEOs and you'll go on to work with me in our CEO program, hardwiring you and your team and your profit. And some of you will grab the book and be able to accomplish that first big thing that you've been working on for years. So I wanted to dive into the three main systems, the three main methods inside the Sync NeuroCoach model that we use inside the 67-day year: clarify, erase, and automate. And I always say, if you can build with those big chunky Legos, not the tiny ones that hurt your feet, but the big ones, it's so simple to literally clarify, to erase, and to automate, and to hardwire your brain to achieve more in less time, to get those dreams into reality. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much. Go buy the book. And if you already have, please leave a 5-star review on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or wherever you are looking for it. And of course, if you're in a Barnes & Noble, ask them to put it on the shelf. All right, thank you so much. I will see you next week on the Epic Success Podcast. Bye for now.